All sinusoidal functions are based on the sine and cosine curves. So that means sine x and cosine x are the parent functions of all sinusoidal functions. So there are some things you have to remember about sine x and cosine x parent functions. Both of them have a central axis at y equals 0. They both have a maximum value of 1. And they both have a minimum value of -1. Both start at 0 on the x-axis, and one complete cycle has a period of 360 degrees. The sine curve starts on the central axis and ends on the central axis, and halfway through it's also on the central axis. It goes up, reaches its maximum, then goes down, reaches its minimum, and goes back up again. And that's one complete cycle. For the cosine function, it starts at its maximum point and ends at its maximum point. Halfway in between, it's down at its minimum point. And it goes down, and then it goes back up. And that's what one complete cycle of a cosine function looks like. So if you memorize these boxes that I've just drawn for the sine and cosine curves, that'll help you as we go forward. Since sine and cosine functions are the parent function of all sinusoidal functions, you get the other functions by doing reflections, stretches or compressions, or shifts of the parent function. So if the parent function is y equals sine of x, you can apply 4 different transformations to that function, which I've labeled as A, K, D, and C. The lead coefficient, called A, tells you the vertical stretch or compression, or if the function is reflected. K tells you the horizontal stretch or compression or reflection. The value of D tells you the horizontal shift, so whether or not it's being moved left or right. This is also called a phase shift. And C tells you the vertical shift, whether or not it's going up or down. So for any sinusoidal function, you can start with your parent function and just apply these different transformations to it. So here is a function that I want to graph. Y equals 2 sine x plus 3. And I want to graph this over 2 cycles. So the first thing I need to notice in this function is that it's based on sine of x. So sine x is the parent function. And if you'll recall, this was my drawing of one cycle of the sine curve. So all the transformations are going to be applied to this sine curve. I'm going to draw a new box for my transformed function. So I'm going to draw a box with a maximum, a minimum, and a central axis. When I look at this equation, I notice there is a value of D. We're going plus 3. So remember, that's a vertical shift, and in this case, it's up 3. So that vertical shift is being applied to the central axis. So instead of starting at 0, it's going to start at 3. The next thing I want to notice is there's a transformation over here. That's an A value of 2. It's positive, So that means my curve is going to open in the same direction. So it's going to start and end in the same spot. In the middle, I'm going to be halfway in between. I'm going to go up to my maximum, down to my minimum, and back up. So I still have the same shape. But this 2 refers to a stretch. So it applies to my minimum and my maximum values. So instead of my maximum being 1, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. So instead of my amplitude being 1, my amplitude is now 2. So I have to add 2 to my central axis. So that means my maximum value is 5. The minimum value on my parent function was -1. My amplitude was 1. But remember, I'm multiplying it by 2. So now instead of going down 1 from my central axis, I'm going down 2. So my minimum value is 1. So those are the only transformations being applied to the sine curve. I don't have anything that would affect my horizontal starting point or end point. So I'm just going to leave those the same. Halfway between 0 and 360 is 180 degrees. So now I can graph this. I'll start by making an appropriate scale on my x and y axis. So this box that I drew over here, it's going to help me when I'm graphing. I know my maximum value is 5 and my minimum value is 1. I know that my starting point on the x-axis is 0 and one cycle goes till 360 degrees. So I'm just going to draw this box on my actual grid over here. So there's the box, maximum of 5, minimum of 1, starts at 0, ends at 360. And the central axis is at 3. It's a sine curve, so I know it's going to start on my central axis and it's going to end at the same point for a complete cycle. Halfway in between those 2 points, I'm going to be on the central axis. Between the first and second points, halfway between those, I'm at the maximum. Halfway between my second or my middle and last point, I'm down at the minimum. So you just keep dividing by half and by half again. Now I just draw a smooth curve through my points. And there's one complete cycle of my function. But the question's asking to graph over 2 cycles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat my pattern. So I'm just going to draw in another box for another cycle. I start on the central axis, I end at the central axis, halfway in between, I'm in the middle, halfway between those points, I'm up here, halfway between the last points, I'm down here, and I just repeat. And I could repeat this for any number of cycles just by copying and pasting that box that I have in yellow. And you can even take this function and go backwards into the negative x values. Here's another function that I want to graph. First thing I need to look for is whether it's sine or cosine. This one's cosine. So I know that my parent function is cosine, which roughly looks like that. So I'm going to set up my box just like I did the last time. When I look at the function, there's no c value at the end, so I'm not moving my central axis. So it's going to stay 0. My lead coefficient is -1. Since it's negative, my function isn't going to go this way, it's going to be a reflection. So it's going to open that way. The next thing I notice is that I have a d value.
Plus 45
in the brackets here. So instead of starting at 0 like my parent function, I'm going left 45 degrees. So that means I'm starting at minus 45 degrees. Just remember the sign is opposite whatever you have in the brackets in the equation. And the parent function ended at 360, but remember I'm going left 45. So that means instead I'm going to go to 315 degrees. There's nothing in the equation over here that would stretch or compress my graph, so my amplitude remains unchanged. That means I'll go up 1 from my central axis and down 1 from my central axis. So to graph this, I need to start by making an appropriate scale. So on the x-axis, I'm making every square is 45 degrees. I did that because I know I'm going to shift by 45 degrees to the left, so it just makes it easier. When I draw my box, I've got the maximum is 1, the minimum is -1. I'm starting at -45 on the left and ending at 315 on the right. So there's my box for one cycle. I know I'm going to start in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to end in the bottom right-hand corner. Halfway between those 2 points, I'm going to be at the maximum value. Halfway between those first 2 points, I'm going to be on the central axis, and then the same on the other side. Draw a nice smooth curve. And that's one complete cycle. To draw 2 complete cycles, I'm just going to repeat the same pattern. So there you go. I just keep repeating the pattern as many times as necessary.